I'm joined here today by the one, the only, of course, talking about Hands of Steel himself, Geoff Neal, set to make the big return, UFC 269, Santiago Ponzinibbio. What's going on, man? How are you?
Good man, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. We're less than 2 weeks away from the fight. I believe it's happening December 11th. How you
Yep.
feeling, man? A few days out like this, I assume it's got to be to the point where you're thinking about it often.
Yeah, thinking about way off, and it's crazy. The closer you get to the fight, the more you think about it. Like 2 weeks ago, I wasn't even really thinking about Ponzinibbio, but now like he's fucking stuck on my mind. So this is the time where you start getting a little nervous and like things are happening. But I live for it. I love it, and I feel great. I feel way better than I have been. Like I've told you before we start the interview, I've been taking supplements and all that, and it's really helping out. So I don't know what I've been doing my whole career. I don't know why I haven't taken supplements, but that's never happened again.
So what happened with the supplements? Like, did you have somebody sit there and tell you, like, look, man, you got to start taking some stuff? Like, how did the supplement stuff happen?
Pretty much like my teammates will all tell me they're like they'll have like those supplements, and I was like, what is this? And they're like, you don't take that? I was like, no. And they're like, you should. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So like now I'm looking at my table right now. There's probably like fucking 20 bottles of just different things and like pills and stuff. It's crazy, but it's necessary. I don't know how I survived this long without doing it.
And so you mentioned we were talking about it before, but you dry scoop it. I feel like that's a certain mention that you're a different breed if you're dry scooping it. Why are you dry scooping it? Did somebody tell you that's the way to do it, or you just fuck it? That's the way you want to do it.
But yeah, dry scooping, I've always like it's easier, get straight to the point. You know what I mean? Instead of putting it in a bottle, shaking it up, and then if it tastes nasty, then now you got to drink a fucking whole 16 ounces of nasty shit instead of just taking it to the head. I drink straight liquor. Whenever I do drink, it's like straight tequila. So you know what I mean? Dry scoop is not shit.
Oh man, yeah, the tequila. I feel like that one's especially nasty. There's some stuff that it tastes all like gin. I feel like gin tastes pretty good, but tequila, I have trouble with that one. I don't like.
Tequila's not that bad. Yeah, you gotta get the tequila reposado. If you drink the blanco, it's not too good, but the reposado is better to sip on.
All right, well, I assume
Take
you're
it
not
from where
drinking
from?
in this. You're not drinking in this training camp. I assume is
Nah.
it fair to assume that?
Yeah, no, not at all. I wish I could, but nah.
All right, let's talk about this fight against Santiago Ponzinibbio. I think everyone reacted the same way when they saw it was, holy shit, like you got two guys that like to stand up, heavy hands and stuff like that. Were you as excited about the matchup as everybody else?
Yeah, for sure. I've been trying to get this fight for a minute. You know what I mean? Like after I fought Bilal Muhammad, that's the fight I was trying to get next. You know what I mean? So, and then after I fought Mike Perry, pretty much I've been trying to fight him for a while, but he's been sick, and you know what I mean. And then when he was ready to make his comeback, you know what I mean, I was trying to tell people that like you know what I mean, like I'll give him a shot to get back in the rankings because they kicked him out of the rankings. You know what I mean? So. I was like, cool. Like, I've been trying to fight him, and like, I feel like he's still ranked. So yeah, if he wants to get back in the rankings, fight me. You know,
So
but
why him? Like, what is it about him that made you say like you wanted this fight so bad that you've kind of been chasing him for a
it's,
few years?
it's not so bad because there's a lot of other people I've been trying to fight too. You know what I mean? There's like he's not the only one, but that's just one of the people in the rankings that made sense as far as like stylistically and like you know what I mean where I wanted to be. And it was just a good fight. It's a perfect matchup for both of us. You know what I mean? It can go either way, but I just feel like it's a perfect matchup, and I like his style, and I got like fighting him is a good test for me. You know, so why wouldn't I want to take that fight?
So is preparation for this fight more fun than other fights? Because you're going up a guy that against a guy that likes to box and stuff like that. I assume it's better than preparing for a guy where you got to do takedown defense all day.
I mean, no camp's fun, like especially when
Yeah,
it comes to like my coach in our gym, like
yeah.
he'll figure out a way to make it hell. Like you know, even though this fight's is most likely going to be standing up the whole time. That's not to say I haven't been working everything. You know what I mean? I have been working takedown defense. I have been working wrestling. So if he thinks that he's going to like catch me off guard and throwing some takedowns and stuff like that, I'm ready for it. So it's been hell. Like we never just train one thing for a camp. You know what I mean? We all train the whole everything. So it doesn't matter.
So one of the big things you guys have in common is I think you both had, really big health problems where I believe both of you almost died at one point. Like it got pretty crazy. I want to talk about you a little bit because we saw you return afterwards. The last two fights didn't go great. A lot of people want to know, like, has that affected you more than you realize? All the health stuff that you had to deal with. Like, what's kind of now that you've had some time, to recover and everything, has it affected you more than you realized?
I don't know. Well, like we will really see after this fight. You know what I mean? we'll see after this fight. You know what I mean? If I go on the cage and I feel like shit again, then you know what I mean. Then we'll really know. But we'll see. Like I don't think so. I don't want to sit here and say like, oh, it's because I got almost died is the reason why I lost to the last two people, which is a fair reason. But it's just
Yeah.
like, oh my god, hold on. She keep on calling. But it's a fair reason. But I'm not going to use that as an excuse. You know what I mean? I lost. I was not the better man those 2 nights. So it is what it is.
So I feel like the tradition when we interview Geoff Neal, everyone has to ask you about Khamzat Chimaev. I don't want to be the guy who doesn't, you know what I mean? We have to keep it going. So recently we saw Dana White said this thing, everybody's scared to fight him and stuff like that. What's your take when you hear that? Because I assume for you as a competitive guy in the division, there's got to be some frustration.
He, he he knows. I mean, I feel like that was like a bait
Yeah.
move. You know what I mean? To get somebody to talk shit and then get one of the upper guys. You know what I mean? The ones that could make the most money for a Khamzat Chimaev fight to take the fight. You know what I mean? That wasn't directed towards us in the fucking like the bottom five, the top 15. You know what I mean? That was more directed towards the top five. You know what I mean? But yeah, nobody's fucking saying I'll fight him. Like there's I'm not worried about fighting him, but because I got Ponzinibbio ahead of me. But if had no fight and I was ready to go, healthy, uninjured, yeah, I would take that fight. But nobody's scared of him. Like we're fighters. Like we're in the UFC. Who the fuck are we scared of? You know what I mean? Nobody's scared of a fight.
So how does it work in that situation? Because the thing we always hear is, I think he said like everybody takes social media, nobody calls us. Like, say there's a matchup you really want, like Santiago, for example.
Mhm.
Are you getting your coach slash manager, or are you calling someone to let it know,
Yeah,
or what's kind of
yeah.
your process?
Yeah, that's how it goes. Like you know what I mean. Like any fight that I want or that my coach thinks is I should take, we talk about it, and he's the direct link to the matchmakers. You know what I mean. So he's chiming in, putting it out there. But there's a lot of politics. It's just because you say you want to fight somebody, don't mean you're going to get that fight. You know what I mean. You got to get them to agree, and then you got to get the UFC brass to agree. So it's not that easy to get any fight that you want.
So UFC 269, obviously super exciting event, even more exciting with you on there. Are you thinking about that bonus fight of the night? Like this is the matchup to get it done, bro. Are you sort of looking at these other fights like, it's gonna be tough?
I'm not even thinking about that. Like I would love the bonus, you know what I mean? But is this going to have to come? You know what I mean? Previously on my other contracts, when I was getting paid, whatever I was getting paid, I was like, I need that bonus, you know what I mean? Because it would help. But now, like, you know what I mean? I go out there, get the dub. Even like, you know what I mean? I plan on getting the finish either way, but I'm not worried about getting a bonus or not because I'm getting paid pretty well. So that extra 50 is just extra money, but I can do about it now.
I know for you at one point the big story was always, Geoff Neal has to be a waiter and he has to be a fighter at the same time. Where you at sort of with the waiting stuff? Because I know you enjoyed it, I think, more than people realized.
Yeah, I love serving. Like, you know what I mean? At the beginning, I needed to serve, you know what I mean? I needed to pay my bills and stuff. But once I started winning and then started to get more money, I didn't really have to be there no more. But I just kept on doing it just to give myself something to do. But eventually I did get burnt out and I haven't been back to work in like what a year and a half. So, you know what I mean? I'm not working anymore and it actually feels better. You know what I mean? I'm more relaxed. I get to sleep more. I get to just chill more, and it's I need that. And especially now, like I'm at the highest level of fighting that you can be in. You know what I mean? I can't be working like that. So yeah, I think I'm done. Sir, I'm done being a server for a good while.
I mean, could you realistically go back to serving? Like, wouldn't most of the people recognize that there's a UFC fighter as their waiter? Like, I feel like a lot of people would kind of see that and think it's a little bit weird.
So some could. I mean, I can go back to serving. Like it's the it's not hard to because I've been doing it for just as long as I've been doing fighting for like 10 years. So it's just second nature for me to be a server. It's not too much stress on me, so I can serve, fight. It's not that hard, but not too many people really do notice because like yeah, I'm not this super big name guy. You know what I mean? Like they bless me with these like good positions on all these fight cards, but that's just off of you know what I mean the potential for violence. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, let's put Geoff here because some shit might happen. You know what I mean? That's why they put me where they put me. It's not because I'm just like this big name guy that everybody knows, but one day that will happen. But right now, like when I was serving, nobody really noticed me, and that was good. But
So do you like that people think of you, they think violence, like, there's always, oh, this guy talks too much, this guy, but like you really do let those hands of steel do the talking. Like, is there like you feel good about that knowing that people expect violence when they see you?
Yeah, yeah, because that's my mentality when it comes to fighting. It's I'm not here to talk shit. It's like let's just fight. Like that's the name of the game is fighting. It's not running your mouth on social media. But I like that, and I get my respect, and I don't have to open my mouth to get paid and be where I'm at.
So the fight's getting very close. Obviously, you mentioned that you're thinking about him constantly. What's the pressure like heading into this fight? Obviously, you got the losing streak, unfortunately. Are you feeling like a lot of pressure heading into this one?
No, I mean it's always the same pressure every fight. You know what I mean? Like I'm fighting in front of thousands of fans. You know what I mean? And fucking everybody's gonna be watching it on TV, pay per view event. Same pressure, but I'm not really thinking about losing. I'm only worried about winning. Losing is not an option. And if yeah, I'm on a 2 fight losing streak. Who cares? I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna win.
So what does a win put you in the division? I assume it's got to put you in a pretty good spot, though, 'cause Santiago Ponzinibbio is still a big name. Like, it must put you in a good spot.
Honestly, when is this going to solidify my position in the top 15? Like I don't, my rankings probably won't change too much after that fight. I think he's ranked right behind me. I beat him, and then it's not gonna work. I probably just stay the same. And but I would establish myself. I get my first ranked win. You know what I mean? I have beat a great fighter. I beat Bilal, but we weren't ranked at the time, so that really doesn't count. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get my first ranked win, and I'll be the same. I think I'll still be number whatever I am now, and then we'll just move forward from there.
That's odd. I could have sworn you had some ranked wins. Like, I feel it sounds weird to me to say that this would be your first ranked win. That sounds
Yeah,
odd to me.
yeah, like because I beat what Bilal back my third fight way back in the day in 2018 or 19 or whatever, and we weren't ranked then, and I got ranked after that fight, and then fought Mike Perry at the end of the year. I think he was ranked for a minute, and then he got unranked or some shit happened, but not beat him. But yeah, I've never beat a ranked fighter. My last 2 fights were ranked, but Warren Boy and Neal, and I lost both those.
Well, in this one, we're gonna change things, of course. You look at Santiago Ponzinibbio's last couple of fights. I'm very excited. I think the last fight, everyone was saying fight of the year stuff. It stopped considerably after a week, but when it was happening, people were excited. Does that make it more exciting for you, knowing that there is that kind of potential going into a fight?
Yeah, for sure, and it's one of those fights I like that makes me want to fight. You know what I mean? That makes me like it's that 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 it's dangerous. You know what I mean? Like I need that danger going into the fights. I don't want to go into a fight and be like, this ain't gonna be shit. You know what I mean? Like I want to be worried. I want to be a little nervous. You know what I mean? Because that's gonna make me perform at the best of my abilities.
All right. So one last question for you. It's an obvious one. It's an easy one, but that's how we finish the interviews. But how do you see yourself getting your hand raised against Ponzinibbio?
No, same way I always see it. It's either going to be get the job done in the first, second round, or going to be a 3 round war.
All right. Well, we look forward to it. I already tell you that it's going to be an awesome fight. Thanks so much for the time, Geoff. I really appreciate it.
No problem, bro. Thank you, man.